Hello, welcome to the Harriet's Heart YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about some traditional African American holidays. We're going to start off with the most controversial holiday in our community, which is Kwanzaa. It's not very widely celebrated, although it is deeply entrenched in a lot of our ancestral and modern values. I personally believe that it is a holiday that should be celebrated more often. A lot of the qualms with this holiday is the inventor. The creator's name, who I just pulled up, Molana Karanga. I can't remember that. Created in the 1960s. Very controversial figure. Honestly, not controversial. He wasn't the best guy in the world. And some people might say that it's like propaganda, like the things he's been convicted with. But it is what it is. The reason why, in spite of that, I still celebrate it is because I think the richness and the idea behind it was much more important than the person himself. When I think of doing things for our culture and our community, I don't think of modernizing or making individual people the pillars of our community and the faces of our community and culture. Like Martin Luther King can be seen as a controversial culture. Somebody screaming outside. They're interrupting my video. As I was saying, Martin Luther King can be seen as a controversial figure to some people as well, but a lot of us follow his speeches and a lot of his philosophy to lead us in America in so many ways. Malcolm X also. A lot of our great pillars and people who see the faces of our community can be seen as controversial figures too. Not on the same level. Okay, Martin Luther King didn't kill nobody or anything like that. But I do think I want to say that lots of holidays aren't created by the nicest, best, prettiest people, but I think our culture and our heritage is going to be the most important thing when it comes to having a real community, having sovereignty in ourselves and our lives, about who we are and what we stand on. And so I celebrate Kwanzaa. So Kwanzaa is celebrated on December 26th through to January 1st. So it's a week-long event. There are, I think there's 7 candles or 6 candles. I think it's 7. Sorry, I'm unprepared. Yeah, okay, it's 7 candles, red, black, and green. And in that order on the Kanara, which is the holder for said candles. And there's a whole system of how your Kwanzaa table should be set up for this holiday. It's a really great time to honor your ancestors, really great time to bring your family together. It's a really great time to eat traditional foods and teach your children about our heritage and our history. And yes, it was made by a man who has been in the courtrooms. But us as a community and our culture are more important. So if you want to have that honesty during your holiday celebration, I say do it as well. But I think recognizing that our culture is more important to stabilize than constantly invalidating ourselves by people who were not the best of our community is unproductive. And so more symbols of Kwanzaa are, other than the 7 candles, which represent 7 principles, to give you more, confidence or something like that, like symbols to think about and stuff on this cultural holiday. The candle holder Kanara, and then you have the unity cup, the placemat, which goes on the bottom. You have a bowl of, they say crops or corn or something on here, but it's honestly just a bowl of, I have a really nice one, I don't know where it is. Bowl of crop, like traditional things like sweet potato, pumpkin, gourd, things like that, and maybe corn or something. crops like that, which like represent some traditional African values of like the harvest and celebrating the harvest, but also represent like our long lastingness as a people, represent the flavors of our culture, all sorts of things that were really important too, that aren't just, oh my god, there's an ant on my couch. What the fuck? Get out of here. I'm scared of ants. And then you also have the corn there representing every single child in your family or in your house. And I think that's also really great about Kwanzaa, is about this focus on honoring the children and leading them in a way that is educational and respectful of our culture. So I think that's really great. And gifts as well is on Kwanzaa. Usually it's one gift. Now traditionally, if I'm sure, is one gift to children only, but I prefer to give one gift to everybody. But for children specifically, the main gift you want to give them is books, excuse me, about their heritage and things like that. And I think if you want to modernize this and even switch it up, is books, audiobooks, or things like that, something they can tangibly like consume a little bit easier, or things that you think promote blackness and things like that. Like if you want to give the kids a bunch of a CD of, you know, the Cinderella movie with Brandy, like I think that's good for Kwanzaa. Like, you know, like if I have two nephews, I would love to get them the entire Static Shock series. Just that representation, I feel like is important as reading your history a lot. So history books, and not just mainstream history, but like the untaught history. And so those are a lot of the principles and pillars in Kwanzaa, along with the familial thing. I like to cook a lot of traditional dinners, traditional foods for Kwanzaa, so sweet potatoes and things like that. I also have created a few different dishes. Like I'd like to make a fried chicken with a spicy peanut sauce, which is like very traditional flavors, but not necessarily in a traditional way. I also like to take that time to honor ancestors of the land, or honor people who have helped our people to freedom. So I make a rice dish from the Patwami tribe, which is my local tribe, which were part of the bigger tribe that were known for helping enslaved people to freedom. Or not necessarily known, but there are multiple stories of them helping enslaved people to freedom. So I think there's a good thing to differentiate. And one, not every tribe was helping enslaved people to freedom, so you would do yourself a really good honor if you wanted to add these indigenous foods into your Kwanzaa celebration dinner by first researching the civilized tribes, because those tribes were often engaging in white supremacy, often engaging in enslaving our people. And so avoiding celebrating those cultures while celebrating the people who actually have allied with us from the beginning. So this is my video about the holiday Kwanzaa. It's the first controversial video, but I like to celebrate it. I like to take what I can from it. And I think a lot of things with like who you honor and what you honor, like I rather honor the thing and not the person. And I can separate that. I'm not an all or nothing. I think two things can be true at the same time, that it's a great holiday and that the creator was an interestingly controversial person at the same time. So this was the video for the holiday Kwanzaa. Next video will be less controversial.